Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Thursday. Hey, baby, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm really good. As a matter of fact, I'm super good. I've got an interesting Dear John letter today, so we've got that coming your way. Some of these are really, really bizarre, but that's kind of what we asked for, I suppose. So, you know, nobody wants to like, Dear John, I'm wondering about maybe switching my garbage service. Yeah, you know. Should I cut my hair short or not? So we got some interesting stuff to talk about. What do you do first thing in the morning?
Check my phone.
There you go. It says, turns out a lot of young women head to Facebook before they head to the bathroom. So before they even get out of bed, before their feet touch the ground.
Actually, I don't go to Facebook.
Oh, you don't?
No.
What do you do?
I go to eBay and see if I won my auctions.
Oh, well, see, there you go. Third of young American women check Facebook before even brushing their teeth or going to the bathroom in the morning. Survey from Oxygen Media found that women age 18 to 34 are becoming increasingly addicted to dependence on technology and social networking sites. 1 in 5 said they wake up in the middle of the night to respond to posts and tweets and texts.
Oh, that's
all of that.
so
37%
horrible.
said they fall asleep with their phone in their hand. So there you go. That is why on the John and Heidi Show Facebook page, I post things really early. There's some things that I post really early. So
you can get those ladies.
Those people are waking up. I want them to have something to look at.
There you go.
There you go. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
Holy cow, I thought you'd never ask. It's Thursday, March the 2nd. It's Dr. Seuss Day.
Oh,
I love
you
Dr.
love
Seuss.
Dr. Seuss.
I do. I don't know what it is about Dr. Seuss. I've just always...
It rhymes.
Well, it doesn't always rhyme, but it's like... It's
like
a rhyme.
sing-songy.
Yeah,
you
I
like
know,
that.
It's like that. It's also World Book Day, whatever that is. NEA's Read Across America Day. I think that's kind of tied in with Dr. Seuss Day. So, World Book, aren't those the encyclopedias? Do they still have encyclopedias?
I don't think so.
When I was a kid, we had those in our house. Kids, if you don't know what that is, that was the internet, before the internet. If you wanted to know something, you looked in a book and you read something that was true 8 years ago when that book was printed. I'd be reading through it, talking about
It was good for history assignments.
President Kennedy. I'm like, oh, this is so outdated. Dad, this book is old. He's like, it's good. Just read it. It's fine. All right. Coming up, we've got some special things on this Dr. Seuss Day. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Hey, it's John and Heidi. Join us for 80s in the Sand, a week-long 80s event this November 11th through the 18th in beautiful Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic.
Meet and listen to 80s bands like Loverboy, Starship, Howard Jones, and many more.
Plus, meet 80s icons from the movies like Anthony Michael Hall, Andrew McCarthy, and several others.
Get all the details at 80sinthesand.com.
Use promo code RADIO to get a $200 immediate refund per person.
Book your week-long 80s vacation now at 80sinthesand.com.
You know it's true because you heard it on the radio. Could peer pressure be a good thing, Heidi?
I suppose.
Teenagers
Sometimes.
who have close friends are more likely to have better health as young adults. Health Day News reports, this is from the University of Virginia in Charlottesville, says these results indicate that remaining close to, as opposed to separating oneself from, this peer pack in adolescence has long-term implications for adults' physical health. So it's kind of interesting. The co-author, Joseph Allen, wrote in the Journal of Psychological Science, the study found that those who enjoy high-quality friendships and have a high desire to fit in with their peers during adolescence had far better health at age 27 than those who separated themselves from their peers during their teenage years. This even held, This held even, there we go, after the researchers accounted for other factors. So they're saying it's got to be something else. So they tried a bunch of other things, some including weight and drug use.
But that's only if your friends are a good influence.
So,
I mean, if you're hanging out with a group of friends that are overeaters and they don't do anything, and you're not going to have good health because you're going to pick up bad habits.
Well, I'll finish the study here. It says, why is this? They claim it's from strong friendships and feeling like you're being a part of a group as a teenager can influence adult health by lowering anxiety and stress levels. So think about this. If that group is a group of people who are playing the same sport, It's the physical activity. If that group is a group that are, going out hiking and doing stuff together, maybe the physical activity. But if that group is also sitting around just, eating junk food, maybe it's not so good.
Right.
I don't know. It'd be interesting to see the research on that. I'd like to give them my advice on that research.
We should do our own study.
We actually should do studies. We could make money and quote our own studies. According to the John and Heidi Show Research Department, we got $7 billion for that. A grant. All right. That part's not true, but this other part over here that we were talking about, the peer pressure thing, that's true because you heard it on the radio.
John and Heidi.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by the Keystone Treatment Center.
This is your brain, and this is your brain on drugs. We share silly stories here on the program, but addiction is no joke. If you or someone you know suffers with an addiction to drugs or alcohol, make today the day you seek help.
Call toll-free 844-204-1055.
That's a toll-free number. Again,
844-204-1055.
And this is your brain on drugs. Take a listen to this. 56-year-old Vicki Williams Tillman was out on a shopping trip, and she saw a police officer struggling on the side of the road with a person that he had pulled over. She said, I could see that he needed help, so I got out of the car, and I jumped on the man's back. The police are now applauding her bravery. The trouble began when the officer saw drug paraphernalia inside of a car of 28-year-old Thomas Bennett during a traffic stop. Bennett became aggressive toward the officer when he was trying to handcuff him, used the officer's own baton to hit the officer in the head, was reaching for the officer's gun from his holster. Vicky, this passerby, jumped from her car, called 911, and then jumped into the fray. A spokesperson for the police department said she made a big difference, and they acknowledged that things would have ended very differently had she not stopped to help. Ultimately, another officer was on the scene, was able to get Bennett and hit him with a stun gun, but she has been touted for, the bravery.
That's amazing.
That is. I would hope that I would do that, but I wonder, because, jumping in the middle of a fight, I think I would. I hope I would. I want to say that I would.
I would love to. I would pull out a gun. Well, gosh, though, if the guy's on top of the officer, you don't want to shoot the officer.
Anyway, they later
said I probably would.
She is a good Samaritan, so I agree with that completely. Coming up, we have your moment of duh. Now your moment of duh. And I don't know if this is necessarily a moment of duh, but I think it's kind of dumb. A school in Vienna is offering classes for men who lack basic skills, like domestic skills, like ironing and doing laundry and cooking. So for 200 shillings, that's like $16.
Okay.
In Austria, they will introduce novices to the delights of housework in classes that vary from 90 minutes to 2 hours. They conclude with a diploma. Here's your diploma for ironing. What? You don't need a diploma to iron. For 1,700 shillings, so that's a little bit more, women can buy vouchers entitling their men to a complete package that includes ironing, sorting, washing, basic cooking, and dress sense. Yeah, dress sense. I'm going to ask you, what do you think of that? Do you think that's a good idea? This is in Vienna, Austria, so I'm not going to it either way.
Well, I mean, it's not a bad idea. If you don't know how to do those things, it's good to learn it. I learned all of that. I took every home ec class I could take, so I learned all that stuff when I was young.
This is something you could learn for free, just if you wanted.
$16.
But I'm saying, if you wanted to learn it, it's not that they can't learn, ladies. They don't want to know how to do this. I just think that's dumb. Coming up, we have your scoop of the day. That's on the way.
The Scoop of the Day is brought to you by Wells Blue Bunny. If you want delicious ice cream, be sure to look for the Blue Bunny. Sure to have your favorite flavors. Learn more at bluebunny.com.
Now your Scoop of the Day. Have you heard of FOMO? Fear of missing out? Have you heard of that before?
I have.
Okay. Have you heard of FOBO? It's a new thing. A study. It's called Fear of Being Offline. And it's the new fear of missing out. 70% of respondents aged 13 to 24 said they have to be connected no matter where they are.
I think that is so
it is
sad that that's what we've turned our society into.
I can tell you this. We went to the movies. It was on Valentine's Day. We went to the movies, and I turned my phone off. I mean, not just like muted it, but I said, I'm going to turn it off. And the whole time we would just watch the movie, and it was awesome. I was like, I didn't miss it. As soon as the movie
But as soon
was
as you
done,
get...
I turned it on.
Yeah, as soon as the movie was done.
Well, the credits were almost over. So. Hey, resistance training not only makes you feel better and look better, but it can also reverse aging. What? Making your muscles younger through regular workouts. This, according to research from the Buck Institute for Age Research in Novatno, California, and McMaster University Medical School in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. So resistance training is what they're saying you do now. I have been resisting training for a long time.
You're ahead of the game.
I am. News that will surprise nobody. Taller people are happier than shorter people. So if you're going to be a little too tall or a little too short, they're saying if you're a little too tall, you tend to be a little happier than if you're a little too short. Does that surprise anybody?
That doesn't surprise me at all.
It's because our society makes it positive to be tall and negative to be short. And our son, who's tall...
If you would ask our son, that's not the case.
You know, here's the thing. If you're too tall, because he's 6'3", and he's got people who are like, how tall are you? And he said to me, it makes sense. He's like, you never have somebody walk up to somebody short and says, how short are you?
Yeah.
That would be quote-unquote rude to do that. But for whatever reason, you don't feel that it's rude to do that to a tall person. So I understand that. But they tend to be happier, according to Gallup Healthways Well-Being Index. They found that each extra inch in height gives you as much as 4% increase in satisfaction and 4% increase in income. Wow, that's good to know. So I'm going to get some stilt shoes and see if I can get a raise. Study found taller people not only are more satisfied with their lives in general, they're also more likely to report positive emotions and enjoyment and happiness, and less likely to report emotions like anger, sadness, and stress. So there you go. You want to break a snacking habit? Here's a handy trick. Quit eating snacks with your dominant hand. So if you're right-handed, only eat snacks with your left hand. If you're left-handed, only eat snacks with your right hand. According to Personality and Social Psychology Bulletin, it makes you pay more attention to what you're doing, and it gives you a window to decide whether you really want to eat this or not. This is from Women's Health, and I think that's a magazine. I didn't read
it is a magazine.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Either that or it's just, a bunch of women talking about health. I have no clue. I don't know what that is. And finally, reaching for that paper towel in a public restroom can leave bacteria on your hands. Oh, why do I end on this one? And brands that use recycled paper were the most heavily contaminated, according to scientists at Canada's Laval University. The concentration of bacteria in the recycled paper was between 100 and 1,000-fold higher than virgin wool pulp brand, whatever that is. And a study does not imply that paper towels are unsafe. They say they could be a problem for those with weak immune systems, though. Still, it is not an excuse to avoid washing your hands. The president of the American Academy of Nursing Practitioners suggests using air dryers if they are available. Now, I'm going to pause right there and say, I'm not a fan of the air dryers. I'm just not.
I'm not for drying my hands.
You like to play under them.
I like them if they have those powerful ones that make your skin.
She does selfies with the thing blowing her face. How many of those selfies have you taken?
They're called accelerators.
Yeah.
Every time there's a bathroom with an accelerator hand dryer, I stick my face under it and take
I always
a picture.
know because I'll be out, where other people can hear, and you hear a hair dryer. What do you call it? A hand dryer.
Hand dryer.
You hear that noise, and my wife laughing maniacally. I'm like, oh wow, they must have one of those things. This ought to be interesting.
I love
Can't
those.
wait to see these
They're
photos.
fantastic.
All right, there's your scoop of the day on a Thursday.
John and Heidi.
Radio advertising works. When it's done right, it works even better. There are many things you can do to get a better response, and shouting sale really isn't the best thing, believe it or not. Did you know that when you put words to music, they're 9 times more memorable? If you're trying to get people to remember your company, consider a jingle. We work with one of the very best jingle companies in the business, and we'd love to use music to help you grow your company. Learn more and hear examples at RadioReallyWorks.com. That's RadioReallyWorks.com. And it's time right now for
Dear John Letters.
Dear John.
All right, I got a Dear John letter for you here today. And first of all, I want to remind people, you can send us things that are lighthearted too. Just want to remind you of that.
This one's a little heavy.
Yeah. Dear John, I've been a single dad for a few years now. I'm content being single, but I had a younger girl ask me out. So you guys all think you know where this is going, right? Should he go out with this younger girl? No, that's not where it's going. After several invites, we finally went out on a date. Things went well, and we ended up together.
Things went very well.
Apparently. It was just one time, and we went our separate ways. 5 days later, she told me she was pregnant. Yikes. We're not back together, but I'm going to be there for her and for the baby, but I really wonder if this is even possible for it to happen that quickly. Would it be wrong of me to ask for a paternity test? Signed, My Baby Maybe. Well, dear My Baby Maybe, first of all, what the heck are you thinking? I mean, seriously. If they're not together, it kind of sounds like, they apparently don't belong together. You shouldn't be doing this stuff then with somebody you don't really want to be with forever. And I have this amazing tool that you've probably never heard of before. It's a thing called Google. I went on just to see, because the question was, is it even possible for it to happen that quickly? It doesn't take long, according to Google. It says, but you're saying 5 days later. Now on here it says, you might get a positive before then, but it's not very accurate until at least 14 days. I tested at 10 days and got a negative. At 14, I got a positive. So they're saying there, 14 days. And this one here, positive blood test can happen about 3 to 4 days after. So, I guess that's possible. I don't know. What are your thoughts on this, Heidi? When you, because, our kids are a lot older now. Our son is 20 and our daughter is, how old is our daughter? 15? Holy cow.
I certainly didn't know within 5 days that I even needed to take a test. I mean, it's...
That's kind of what I wonder is, how would you know?
That just seems... I don't know. This is a tough one for me to give advice on, because I don't really know what to say here.
This my fancy Google tool also says... early pregnancy tests can now be taken several days before your period is due, but the earlier you take the test, the less reliable the result. The number of days varies according to the make of the test. The earliest tests claim to be reliable from up to 5 days before your period is due. I guess that has nothing to do with it.
Yeah, that's nothing to do with this.
Anyway, so I guess let's get to the meat of the issue here.
I would definitely ask for a paternity test.
What is the proper way to do that?
Just say, I don't know you very well. I was with you one time. I don't know if you've been with anybody else. I want a paternity test. So, I mean, if you, it's not like you've been in a long, respectful relationship. You don't have to really be polite here.
That's the thing. It's just, this is an awkward situation.
I would just ask. I would just say, I want a paternity test.
Here's the thing I would like, because this Dear John letter is posted. I post them right away on Thursday mornings. The one we choose is posted early, squirrely in the morning, so everybody can look and see which Dear John letter we're going to be talking about. So it's been on our Facebook page all day since early this morning. I would encourage you, and anybody, not just the person that wrote this, everybody else also, to chime in. It's 100%, what do you call it where they don't know?
Anonymous?
That's the one. It's anonymous. So, when you go on and read it, it's just signed My Baby Maybe. So you don't know who this is. But I would encourage everybody else to chime in as well, because this is a person that's asking for advice. Would it be wrong of this man to ask for a paternity test? Heidi says no. My answer is no as well. I don't think that it would be wrong.
I mean, reiterate that if it comes back that it is mine, I will be there for the baby.
And here's the thing that I would say, personally.
I would insist on a test.
Here's the thing that I would say personally is, if that's not your baby, whoever the father is, I would feel so ripped off. I would feel awful to find out that I have a child that I didn't even know about.
Yeah, that person deserves to know.
So, yeah.
I would insist. So I would.
Anyway, you got some interesting things coming up here. I wonder how long. It says 5 days later. So was this last week? Was this last month? Congratulations sometime in the future, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, if you've got a Dear John letter, more lighthearted, please, for next week. It's like 3 weeks in a row. This is tough stuff. Who do we have listening to this program? I'm ashamed of all of you. I'm just kidding. You know what? Here's the thing. Honest to goodness, I love you. No matter what. I absolutely do. I appreciate the people that listen to this program. So send me your Dear John letter, even if it's a tough one, but send it to us on our Facebook page. And that's where you can also find this one. Facebook.com/John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Many people go to college, but when they graduate, they've racked up a ton of debt. Not everyone, though. Matthew Einstein saved over $70,000 on a top-rate education. Then, after everyone wanted to know how he did it, he built a system to show you how to do it, too. Learn how you can use his system for yourself or for your kids. Go to freeeducationuniversity.com. Watch a few videos there for free. Sign up now and get a free 60-minute private consultation with Matthew. That's freeeducationuniversity.com. Use promo code Radio20 to save 20%.
John and Heidi.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Due to precipitation, for a few weeks, K-12 is taller than Mount Everest. So, like when they get snow and stuff, it stacks up higher than Mount Everest. That's kind of cool.
Huh.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Ferdinand Porsche, who later went on to build a sports car bearing his own name, Porsche, also designed another vehicle. Do you know what that was?
The Ferdinand?
No. It was this little thing you might have seen driving around before called the Volkswagen. Yeah.
Oh.
He designed that in 1936 and then went on to design the Porsche. So now you know. A couple of fun facts for you. Oh, hey, I got time for more. Another fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
I am so confused here. Amish people do not believe in the use of aerosol air fresheners. So they don't use anything that's an aerosol like spray stuff. That's interesting. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Being unmarried can shorten a man's life by 10 years. So thank you, Heidi, for giving
You're
me
very welcome.
an extra awesome 10 years of my life.
Because they don't have somebody looking out for them saying, that's a bad idea.
You shouldn't
Don't
do
do
that.
that.
Okay, I won't do that. Love you. Thanks for listening to a couple of fun facts on a Thursday.
John and Heidi.
This is Richard Lustig, the world's first and only 7-time lottery game grand prize winner. Since I endorsed Lottolicious, I have won something every single draw. They do all the work. You don't have to worry about running to the store to buy your tickets. They take care of all that. So if you're looking for the best way to play the lottery, to give yourself the best chance of winning, go to RadioLottoPool.com and join today. Again, that website is RadioLottoPool.com.
John and Heidi.
Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Thursday. A very real hazard to your good health is your chair or your couch or your seat of your car. Anywhere that you would sit for long periods of time, like working at your desk, watching TV, or driving, it can increase the risk of an early death from heart disease. Also can increase your risk of type 2 diabetes and other health conditions. But there is a remedy, and it's very easy. They say, according to this, once an hour, stand up and walk for 2 minutes. While we're supposed to exercise 2.5 hours per week, 80% of us just don't do it. With this in mind, scientists at the University of Utah School of Medicine investigated the health benefits of a more achievable goal, trading sitting for lighter activities for short periods of time. The study found that while there was no benefit to sitting for 58 minutes and then spending 2 minutes standing or doing other low-intensive activities, there was a distinct benefit to spending that 2 minutes walking or cleaning or gardening. Who gardens for 2 minutes?
Right. Pull a weed and then go back inside.
Going to walk out to the garden and yank a weed out, and I'll be back in a minute. It's going to take 2 minutes. Specifically, doing these light intensity activities lower your risk of dying by 33%. So
Wow.
there you go. That's a big difference. That's 1/3.
That's a big difference.
Yeah. So I think I might squeeze in a couple of 2-minute walks, and we'll have to get a garden so I can walk to it and do whatever you do out there for 2 minutes. Not exactly sure. Anyway, a couple of fun things right there that we learned. On the way, we've got some more fun things to learn on this Thursday. We appreciate you listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Hey, it's John and Heidi inviting you to join us for a party in paradise.
This is a week-long event with 80s music from over a dozen awesome bands.
And 80s movie and TV icons like Anthony Michael Hall, Andrew McCarthy, and several others.
Get all the details at 80sinthesand.com.
Use promo code RADIO to get a $200 immediate refund per person.
We'll even get together to have some drinks with you.
Book your week-long 80s vacation now at 80sinthesand.com.
That's 80sinthesand.com.
When we say simple, we mean it. If you want to eat less, then put less food on your plate. This is just such simple advice, really.
Common sense.
Most of us are loyal members of the Clean Plate Club. If our plate has food on it, we keep on eating. So if it's a smaller plate and there's less food, guess what happens?
You eat less.
You do. It says if you put it on your plate, it's going to go in your stomach. Researchers at the Cornell Food and Brand Lab. Ooh, wow. How cool would that be?
That's a cool job.
I work at the Cornell Food and Brand Lab. Mm-hmm. They say 92% of adults eat everything on their plate. What would happen if there was less food on the plate? You eat less. Nearly identical in 7 developed countries. The results were the same in the United States, Canada, France, Taiwan, Korea, Finland, and the Netherlands. If we serve it, we eat it. And it didn't matter of gender or nationality or age or anything. Next time you grab that serving spoon, think about how much of this do I really want to eat? And that's how much I'm going to put on the plate.
There you go.
So there you go.
That's great.
Yeah, interesting stuff. And I've done that before. I'll take a tiny little plate and I'll stack things like this high on it.
I've seen you. I've seen you at the buffet.
Yeah, it's a little tiny plate. They said a smaller plate, I'll eat less. That's why I got stuff falling all over the place here. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
They say it's a good idea to hug and kiss once in a while, Heidi.
I know that. I agree with that.
We should do that more. I think that would be a good thing. We're married, so we can. Couples who find ways to be physically close every day may have less stress. We're close every single day. How far away are we? Like 2 feet? We are 2 of the most stressed people in the world. So much stress. I'm shaking right now. Anyway, they say, back to the study, and let's keep us out of this equation for a minute. Couples who find a way to be physically close every day may have less stress, according to a study from researchers in Switzerland. The study found that people who are in close relationships, especially marriage, have fewer stress hormones coursing through their bodies. This was true even for couples who reported more problems at work, suggesting physical affection at night can be a buffer for the next day's stress at work. What? Now we know the problem, Heidi. Physical affection at night, and tomorrow will be stress-free. This is not for me. This is from some doctor in Switzerland, so we got to try it. All right. We'll have to let you know how that comes out tomorrow. Thanks for... Don't count on it? Is that what you're writing on my note there? Okay. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Many people go to college, but when they graduate, they've racked up a ton of debt. Not everyone, though. Matthew Einstein saved over $70,000 on a top-rate education. Then, after everyone wanted to know how he did it, he built a system to show you how to do it too. Learn how you can use this system for yourself or for your kids. Go to freeeducationuniversity.com. Sign up now and get a free 60-minute private consultation with Matthew. That's freeeducationuniversity.com. Use promo code RADIO20 to save 20%.
Those who have a higher sense of purpose in life and believe their lives are useful appear to live longer. Although it's not clear why. But just believing in a reason to be here lowers your risk of death and your risk of developing cardiovascular disease. That's kind of interesting. Research from Mount Sinai and St. Luke's Roosevelt Hospital in New York, they found there's a 20% lower risk of death for participants with a high sense of purpose in life. This held even after adjusting other factors, like a high sense of purpose in life was related to a lower risk of cardiovascular events. Both associations remain significant on analysis of various subgroups, including country and how purpose in life was measured and whether the study included participants with pre-existing cardiovascular diseases. So no matter what they did, they shuffled it around, and every time when you have a higher purpose, it says, why does a sense of purpose appear to extend longevity? The study could not prove a cause and effect relationship with the two, but the Mount Sinai researchers think that having a purpose in life can help buffer your bodily responses to stress, and that can lead to cardiovascular disease. So like if you've got this thing that you're working on, this is my purpose in life, this is my mission, this is my goal. When you get stressed out, you kind of just forget about the stress and get focused back on what your purpose in life is. Isn't it great to know that you can just maybe have a purpose in life and focus your efforts on helping others, and that's going to help you as well? I think that's pretty cool.
I think that's great.
So it says, do you have a purpose in life?
Do you have a special purpose?
Do you... What was that from? The Jerk?
That's from The Jerk.
Yeah. I saw you smirking over there, and I knew exactly what that was when I kept talking about having a purpose. Anyway, my wife. Please pray for her. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always try to wrap things up around here with good news, and I think we've got some good news today, Heidi.
Good.
I think this is good stuff. South Carolina Master Deputy Mike Gibson began working as a part-time school resource officer to protect the young children. However, there was one student that stood apart from the rest. Gibson discovered this boy had been in and out of foster homes. He even heard that due to his behavior, the boy was considered unadoptable. Gibson went home and told his wife, Kimber, that although they were parents to 3 of their own, they needed to bring this boy home and become his foster parents. After becoming his foster parents, the couple decided to officially adopt him.
Aww.
How cool is that? You can see the entire story on our Facebook page. I always like to do that with our good news stories. So if you ever notice, I'm always telling you that at the end of the program because that's where I put the good news stories. It's because I want to, if we're going to be pushing something out every day, I want it to be the positive stories. Because we have some negative stories on the program too. Some like kind of knuckleheads doing dumb things. I don't want to push that stuff out on our Facebook page. I want to have positive stuff out there. And I call it very shareable. And I see that people do share things all the time on our page. And I love that. Because I figure, hey, if we're going to be having people see who we are, even if they're not listeners to the program, if they're going to be discovering us through Facebook, I want it to be something
for
positive.
something good, something happy.
Yeah, for something good, not because some dumb thing we did. So hopefully that doesn't happen around here. Did you hear what John and Heidi did? He set the studio on fire. I did not set the studio on fire, so it's okay. Management, you can stay in the other room. Anyway, this is from South Carolina. It's a really cool story. And again, if you'd like to read it, online at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Thanks again for listening, and thanks for our Dear John letter today. If you'd like to get a Dear John letter in for next week, send it to the same Facebook page, facebook.com/John and Heidi Show.